how's it going, guys? It's Ryan here. Gonna do some mobility stuff today. This is kind of one of my favorite mobility tools. It's just a softball. I wrote mobility all over it, and one of the things I've been doing a lot lately to kind of help my hips for squats or for deadlifts or just for any kind of back issues that I tend to have on occasion is I either use a kettlebell or the softball. Now the kettlebell not everyone has, and you know, Kelly Starrett posted this video a while ago about doing a inner thigh mobility, like really working on those adductors right here and into those inner thigh muscles. And kind of like what I like about this the most is that you can really get in there. I mean, you can just see kind of the positions right there on the side of your crotch, and you can just dig in, and then you can get some good tissues in it. It's a really awesome setup, and not everyone has a kettlebell to do this with. Also, some people might feel a little ridiculous, but kind of what I like to do is I'll just relax on here. I'll internally, externally rotate. This is kind of where I get the most pieces of kind of bad tissue that I tend to have. But another way to do it is using the softball. Now, one of the things of what this is good for is that if you suffer from back pain or just hip pain or tend to sit too much or you just have just tight tissues, this is a really great way to break up some tissue or kind of release the fascia so that it becomes more pliable so that you're able to move better. And kind of what I like to do is think about this position here, right there, this little section, putting the ball right there. And that's kind of what I like to do. I'll sit right on there. This is my adductors. And you might even, okay, so what you'll do is you'll kind of just relax here and you'll just rest and you'll just kind of roll from side to side. I kind of found that this is actually a really good spot. You kind of have to be careful because sometimes you might hit a little bit of a nerve if you sit on it too hard, because there's a nerve in there that will shoot like some little warm sensations, and not the good ones either. But you're sitting on that tissue, you can contract the muscle, relax it, you can kind of press on it because it's a very tight tissue. And also what you can do is you can roll around the border of the rectus femoris, and kind of right here, not the border, but the edge of the pelvis here, where it connects right here. And that allows kind of, you get some really break this stuff up here with the ball. Not quite the same as using, let's say, like a foam roller. And that's kind of one way to do it. And then also, of course, while you're here, you might as well try to get into the psoas, iliopsoas. And I kind of find that, you know, this is kind of how I find the psoas muscle when I'm rolling it out. I get to the middle of my belly button here. I roll out to about maybe 1 or 2 inches, about 2 inches to the side. And then I go down on the floor. And then I press and relax the tissue, my body, my stomach right there. I contract my stomach, relax, release, and then let my body sink in and just let it just roll. I can move side to side, I can go up and down. But then sometimes, one of the things I always got the difficulty with this particular exercise, I wasn't sure what I was rolling, if I was hitting the right spot. And kind of what you'll know is that if you kind of roll to the side, you'll kind of sink in a little bit deeper, and that means you're going to the side of the tissue. And if you kind of roll in more towards the belly button, you kind of have to roll almost on the belly button or towards the belly button, depending on what you're using. A lacrosse ball might be more effective. It depends on how much body fat you have or how big your stomach is. I have a good amount of body fat, so sort of like I kind of need something a little bit bigger. Another ball that I do have that's pretty effective, let me go grab it, is this other ball. It's the same brand. It's a Worth ball. You can get it at any like Sports Authority, any sports store. And you know, they got that Supernova, which I think is a really great rolling tool. It's just, you know, $40, and if you have the extra money, you like to buy it, yeah, I'd freaking go buy it. But you know, this is like, you know, if I were to compare this to the Supernova, this seems to do the job for me. And I think the Supernova is really great for hamstrings, but I have other things that I use for the hamstrings, like I have a rumble roller. But again, I can find this is good for the psoas. Get right there, because it's a little bit smaller for me, but it's not as small as a lacrosse ball. So I'll get in there in that tissue, find that same spot, dig right in, relax, and then I can really get in there. And it's just a little bit more, I feel like, more targeted approach. And that'll give you some pretty immediate results with improving kind of the way your hips move, because those inner thigh adductors have a tendency to really make it difficult for the pelvis to move the way it should, which makes tendency for your lower back to essentially get more work than it should. It's like the tail wagging the dog. That's kind of the idea that you want to try to get away from, which is what tends to cause back pain or low back tightness.